Inside Iodoro's imposing palace, the tension is palpable as Garris confronts Iodoro. Her face contorted in anger, Garris demands, "What are you gonna do about this now?" She lashes out, frustrated that we just turned Justella into our enemy. Garris stands at the bottom of a grand staircase, glaring up at Iodoro. Iodoro stands silently above her, his expression grim and contemplative, clearly burdened by their recent actions and the consequences. Garris's golden eyes burn with fury as she continues to berate Iodoro. She bitterly blames him, stating, "Had you not been so hung up on keeping her alive instead of eliminating her, we wouldn't be in this mess." Her frustration mounts as she points out that with Kayden now allied with Justella, they have even more enemies. Iodoro remains silent for a moment, his expression grim. Then, with a steely resolve in his eyes, he declares, "Don't worry about Kayden, I can kill him myself." This defiant statement sets a new, dangerous tone for their next move. Garris continues her heated confrontation with Iodoro, warning him to wake up and acknowledge Kayden's strength, noting he's already defeated 2 top rankers. Annoyed, Iodoro retorts, "Are you siding with Kayden right now?" Garris then presses further, accusing him of still being fixated on Justella. She urges him to get back to your senses, emphasizing that their past issues with Justella are done, and he needs to stop letting his emotions cloud his judgment. Garris's patience with Iodoro wears thin as he appears dismissive of her warnings. Iodoro, lost in his own thoughts, prompts Garris to declare, "Nothing I say will get to you right now," before she decides to walk away. As she departs, she internally labels him a pathetic rascal. Garris then reflects on how other top rankers underestimated Kayden, believing they could easily eliminate him. But she reveals, "But I didn't think that way," as the scene dramatically shifts to a vast, frozen expanse, hinting at her independent next move. Garris is now depicted alongside 2 new figures, Greg and Mayaru, as she reflects on a past confrontation. She recalls Kayden boldly approaching them in a vast, frozen landscape. Garris admits she expected him to flee, but to her surprise, Kayden stood his ground and engaged all 3 of them in a fierce battle. The flashback vividly shows Kayden, looking determined, unleashing his power against Greg and Mayaru. This memory reveals Kayden's formidable strength and why Garris holds a different, more cautious perspective on him. The flashback vividly portrays Kayden's incredible power as he unleashes a devastating fiery attack, shattering the frozen landscape. Kayden fiercely battles against Garris and her allies, smashing through ice with explosive force. However, Garris retaliates, impaling him with sharp ice shards. Despite being overwhelmed and injured, as Garris's internal thought confirms, of course, he couldn't defeat the 3 of us combined, Kayden continues to fight. He stands defiant, exchanging powerful blows with another opponent, highlighting his formidable resilience even when outnumbered. This intense past encounter clearly shaped Garris's respect for his strength. The intense flashback battle continues as Kayden unleashes powerful energy, clashing fiercely with his opponents. Explosions erupt across the frozen landscape as golden energy bursts. Despite his formidable strength, Kayden is overwhelmed, taking a brutal hit that leaves him bleeding from the mouth. Garris and her allies believed they had him defeated, with the thought, "And just when we thought we took him out," but Kayden, though severely injured, defiantly stands his ground. He endures another massive strike, showcasing his incredible resilience against their combined might. The fierce flashback battle intensifies as Kayden, despite his severe injuries, unleashes his raw power. His face contorted in a determined grimace, intense blue energy crackles around him as he pushes past his limits, even as he bleeds. His eyes burn with defiance, refusing to yield. Garris, with a fierce expression, retaliates by launching a devastating, sharp blue energy attack directly at Kayden. He braces himself for the impact, showcasing the immense struggle and resilience he maintains against their combined might. Kayden unleashes a devastating red energy attack, severely injuring Mayaru. Garris reflects on the past battle, acknowledging Kayden's incredible precision, stating he blew off Mayaru's leg without missing the slightest of openings. She admits that even against 3 top rankers, Kayden fought fiercely. Despite heavy injuries he endured, blue energy crackling around his defiant form. This intense memory of Kayden's power and resilience solidifies Garris's unique understanding of his true strength, concluding this powerful flashback. Garris concludes her intense thoughts on Kayden, firmly believing they should have killed him and no matter what it took. We then see Iodoro walking away in his palace, deep in contemplation. The scene briefly shifts to a vast, frozen expanse where Garris stands with another figure, hinting at her next independent move. Back in Iodoro's palace, his disciple, Theon, observes him, noting, "You don't seem to be in a good mood." Iodoro stands shirtless, looking somber, while Garris watches him from a distance, the palpable tension between them hinting at their next steps. Inside Iodoro's palace, his disciple Theon appears, her white hair and striking blue eyes commanding attention. She respectfully greets her master, asking how he's been, to which Iodoro replies, the same as always. He then acknowledges her presence by noting she's brought results, hinting at a mission completed. Theon humbly credits her small feat to his teachings, but Iodoro, still looking somber, dismisses her modesty, emphasizing that any achievement at her level is significant. Theon continues her conversation with Iodoro in his palace. After thanking him, she mentions hearing something on her way, but Iodoro quickly dismisses it, telling her it's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Undeterred, Theon then proposes, I have an idea. Would you mind hearing it out? Iodoro, from his throne, relents and tells her to go ahead. Theon then boldly states that given the situation, you can't take Kayden out, hinting at a surprising strategy to deal with their formidable opponent. Inside Iodoro's palace, his disciple Theon proposes a shocking strategy, targeting Kayden's disciple. Iodoro questions her, and she explains that Kayden's disciple recently challenged the disciples of the top 10 rankers. With a chilling smile, Theon declares, I'll use that as an excuse to kill him. However, Iodoro, still looking somber, dismisses her cruel suggestion, stating that killing the disciple won't lift my mood, indicating his deeper concerns remain unresolved. Iodoro, still somber despite Theon's suggestions, dismisses her, telling her to stop worrying about this and rest after her solitary training. She respectfully agrees, and the scene abruptly shifts to a peaceful house where Kayden, in his cat form, is audibly distressed. Inside, Jiwoo, Jestella, Mei, and Bluesea are gathered, their expressions reflecting concern. Their attention is fixed on Kaden, who lies injured and bandaged, being gently cared for. This new predicament reveals a vulnerable challenge for the group. Inside the peaceful house, a calm atmosphere settles as Mei gently tries to feed a purring cat. Jiwoo then arrives, offering everyone hot tea. As Jestella reaches for a drink, Kaden, in his cat form, quickly interjects, you can't drink this. Jestella confirms she's feeling much better, having recovered. She then shares a significant update, revealing she only recently learned that Iodoro and Garris had joined forces, which changes their understanding of the enemy and their next moves. Inside the house, Kaden, in his white cat form, observes that things are getting strange. He notes that now Iodoro and Garris have joined forces, following Myru and Greg. Kaden, in his yellow cat form, then presses Kaden, asking if they tried to recruit him too, and if they intended to trap him when he refused. Kaden confirms this with a simple yes. The gravity of the situation becomes clear as Kaden grimly realizes that, except for Kaden, Jestella, and one other, all other top 10 rankers have already joined forces. Jiwoo, looking concerned, turns to Kaden, asking, Kaden, what are you gonna do, as the full scope of their enemy's power is revealed? As the discussion about their formidable enemies continues, Kaden, in his yellow cat form, hangs dramatically from a wooden frame, seemingly stressed, muttering, that's none of my business. Kaden calmly observes from the couch while Jiwoo and Mei look on, thoughtful. Then, Jestella takes a seat on the same frame, her expression serious. Kaden, now struggling to climb the frame, lets out a frustrated, highlighting his agitated state as the team faces their overwhelming challenge. Amidst the ongoing discussion, a sudden sound from Kaden catches Jestella's attention, her eyes widening in surprise. Kaden, in his cat form, looks up, asking Huh? What is it? Jestella, visibly startled and a bit flustered, reaches out towards him, explaining, something was stuck on your ear. Kaden responds with a simple, really? As Jestella settles back, a slight blush and nosebleed appear, prompting someone to softly whisper, Miss Jestella, hinting at her underlying condition or reaction to the current stress. Amidst their serious discussion, a lighter, more awkward moment unfolds as Jestella, with a blush and nosebleed, reaches out to Kaden. She claims, something was stuck on your ear. To which he casually responds, really? Internally, Jestella confesses she's always wanted to touch his ears and head, but hasn't, fearing his anger. Unbeknownst to her, Kaden suddenly feels a strange sensation, wondering, why do I feel tingly on the back of my head? This amusing interaction provides a brief, humorous interlude. The imposing architecture of Iodoro's palace looms under a twilight sky, with flames flickering in the distance. Inside, Theon confronts Garris, asking if Miss Jestella rejected Master Iodoro's final proposal. Garris confirms it, prompting a fierce reaction from Theon. Her eye, with its distinctive web-like marking, burns with disbelief as she questions Jestella's betrayal after all Iodoro had done. This intense frustration, underscored by the surrounding inferno, hints at Theon's brewing anger and a dangerous path forward for the antagonists.